Nothing yet. Well, I guess it just takes time, and I'm a little bit impatient right now. I just planted my spring garden. By the way, welcome back to the Voodoo Garden. My name is Ray. I am the host of this nonsense I like to call the Voodoo Garden. On my knee, I'll tell you about this in just a second. Actually, I want to tell you about it right now. I can do whatever I want. This is my room. I planted this. These are my French breakfast radishes. Yeah, I actually planted radishes in the Voodoo Garden. Remember, I told you I was going to be planting an indoor garden. And I didn't actually mean I was going to plant like rows and rows of stuff. I have to use pots because, you know, this isn't outside. I planted 4 French breakfast radishes in this little pot, and I'm hoping that they'll grow. It's just regular potting soil and stuff, so we'll see how that works. Plus, with the limited light, I'm really not quite sure, but that never stopped me. This is butter crunch lettuce. So I got radishes, butter crunch lettuce, and ooh, by the way, butter crunch lettuce is one of the vegetables I'm going to be giving away in January in the free seed giveaway. So stay tuned during December. I'll be letting you know exactly what I'm going to be giving away and what the rules are. Not really rules, but the guidelines are to how you can get your free seeds. This is dill. Now, I really don't have a lot of use for dill, in here, except that Mike, the dishwasher, that's his favorite smell. So I grow dill every year so that he can hang it above his desk so that he can smell dill. This one is Boxcar Willie. I'm excited. I've actually been checking these seeds every single day. I'm like that. You know, I'm 1,000,000 years old. I've been gardening for 1,000,001 years. And every single time I plant seeds, I come over here every single day and I look at the dirt and I see if there's anything new. I don't know. It's just something that really turns me into a kid. Whenever I plant a seed, I just get happy about it. This is also Boxcar Willie. You know what happened? Remember last year outside in the Praxis channel, I was growing Boxcar Willie and they didn't turn out so well. They actually turned out really well productivity-wise, but I really wasn't quite thrilled with the... Are you happy with that? I wasn't really quite... He's sniffing everything. He's sniffing my toenail. I wasn't quite thrilled with the flavor of them. So what happened was one friend on Facebook who grows Boxcar Willie, he showed a picture of one in his hand. That looks exactly like the kind that I used to grow. And I mentioned that. So he sent me some seeds for his Boxcar Willie. Now another friend on Facebook, he grows Boxcar Willie and he says he's been growing them for years and they're just like the ones I used to grow. So he sent me seeds. Now what I have is 2 different kinds of Boxcar Willie. I don't know if they're 2 different kinds, but they're from 2 different people, 2 different parts of the country. I'm going to grow both of these in here. Yeah, I know it's kind of early right now, but I'm going to get a head start on next year's garden. And I'm going to grow these far apart to see if they will grow into what I remember them being. And if they do, I'm going to save seeds from those. So I have 2 Boxcar Willies. And I also have, what is this? Habanera. Remember last year I was trying to grow a habanera, which is a habanero, which is a beautiful pepper plant. And I did grow habaneros outside. But habaneros are too hot for me. I just don't like all the heat. So there is a brand called Habanera. And that's a habanero that has all the flavor, the fruity pepper flavor of a habanero, but without any of the heat. And I thought that would be fascinating. Tried to grow it last year and it didn't work out. I had a collapse of everything over here. It hit me on the head and I lost my habanera. Or maybe that was a jalapeno. Ooh, I don't remember. And but anyway, a friend sent me habanera seeds. So I planted habanera peppers. So I got all of my stuff over here. Oh, and this is something different. I don't remember where I got this pot. It's a clay pot. It doesn't have a hole in the bottom, but the nice thing about unfinished clay pots or unglazed clay pots is they evaporate the moisture out the sides. And it helps keep your soil from getting a little bit too moist and staying too moist. Now I've had this pot here forever, and I've normally just turned it over and used it as a stand to put plants on to bring them closer to the light. Well, this year I tried something different. Now I don't know if this is going to work. I planted Scarlet Nantes carrots. And by the way, that's another one I'm going to be giving away in the seed giveaway in January. Scarlet Nantes carrots, because they're absolutely delicious. And I planted Nantes carrots in here. Now I'm only going to grow 1 carrot. I know that doesn't sound like very much, but I thought, you know what? This is the deepest, thinnest pot I have, and a carrot doesn't really need a lot of width. So I'm just going to find out for my own information if I can grow a carrot and have it grow really big in 1 little pot. Don't know, and I won't know until I try. So I'm growing that. And that was the last of my garden. Now I got some other things. I cannot stop myself. I don't know why. And this is this is like my Moby Dick, my white whale. I've been chasing this elusive little creature for so many years. Avocados. And this has two. What are they? There goes my old brain. Toothpicks. How do I even manage to get around in life? But anyway, there are toothpicks in this avocado pit, and I put it in a glass of water. That's generally how most people sprout avocado seeds, pits, is they put them in water, halfway into water, and they wait until they sprout, then they plant them in soil. Well, when I was writing my book, and I mentioned that on the other channel, I don't believe I mentioned on this one, but I'll mention it in a minute. I was writing the book, I wrote something about my grandmother, and she was always growing avocados in her kitchen. And that got me to thinking, once again, I need to try this. So I have two different avocado pits from two different types of avocados, and I don't know why they're all different kinds of seeds, but I got two avocado pits in here. Every time I grow avocados, they grow, they sprout, and then they get about maybe, I don't know, 2 feet tall, and then the leaves start crinkling up and they die. And I don't know why. It just kind of bums me out. I'm thinking there's something that I'm not doing right, that Grandma did right. Unfortunately, my grandma is no longer with me. She passed away many years ago. But the memory of those avocados stuck in my head, and I like to grow them because it helps me remember my grandmother, little things like food and stuff like that. Now the avocados are going to grow. One way or another, I'm going to grow an avocado eventually. So let's hope that it works. You know, I wanted to show you something, some updates, just a couple updates, okay? Well, first of all, let me set these down. One update is here. This is the big elephant in the room. Actually, that's the big elephant in the room. I don't know what I'm going to do with this banana plant. I'm hoping it produces bananas. That would be kind of neat, but it's just freakishly huge. And I've tried to push it over there when I do my programs, but people keep saying, hey Ray, what's that big leaf? It's the banana leaf, because there's only so much room in here. So I shove this thing up against the wall to try and get it out of the frame of the video. And the leaf just goes, hello. So this is the banana plant. This one, my papaya, it produced a flower once, and then it produced another flower a little bit later. Every now and then it produces a flower. Well, this is a dwarf papaya. And from my understanding, that's my disclaimer. From my understanding, this particular type of papaya will not produce actual fruit because you need a male flower and a female flower. Some plants will have hermaphrodite flowers, which means they have male and female and they can pollinate themselves, and that's all well and good. But I don't think the dwarf is like that. So what I'm getting is I'm getting female flowers. That's not really that impressive, but what happens is I get one flower, and boy, they smell good. If you ever want to have a plant that puts out really good smelling flowers, papaya. I know they're space hogs, and their flowers are really small and not very showy, but the smell, you walk into the room, you open up the door, and it's like, something smells really good in here, and it's not me, it must be that. So what it does is it puts out one little flower, and it makes me happy. Then the flower dies, and a month later, another flower. Well, what happened recently is it decided that it just wanted to go nuts. And I don't know why. I didn't do anything different with it, but it just decided all of a sudden it wants to do this. Check this out. See the flower on the right? Yeah, it's really not that special of a flower. Now, you can tell this is a female because there's no little papaya bulb behind it. It's just a flower. And I've tried pollinating them, and of course it didn't produce any papayas. But what's happening recently, and this is just in the last few days, it's putting out multiple flowers. It's got 1, 2, and you can't see the third one. And then let me move the camera over. It's putting out another flower back here and one up here and around the back of it, which I can't get to right now. All of a sudden, this thing decided, I'm just going to put out all the flowers I possibly can. So, within about a week or so, it's going to smell incredibly good in this room. So I just wanted to show you that because it's a little something that made me happy, and I wanted to share it with you. Ooh. Speaking of sharing, since I have you in my hands over here, let me just maneuver you over here. I want to show you this. Remember the pumpkin? The pumpkin seed that was growing inside the pumpkin? Well, here's an update on the pumpkin. I have the lights. It doesn't seem that bright over here because I turned off the lights for filming, but normally it's a lot brighter. And this little teeny tiny pumpkin plant decided to start growing really fast. And now what's going on is it's putting out this main stem coming out of the bottom, and then it puts out side stems, you know, like they normally do on the ground, only these are not growing on the ground. They're just kind of holding themselves up. It's got multiple ones, one out there and one going over there, and they've put out flowers. In the last week or so, they've been putting out flowers. Now up here on the top, that's going to be a flower. You can barely see it, yep, but it's got a little pumpkin at the base of it. So that's a female flower. The male flowers don't have that. They just have a stem with a flower on it. And so if I can get a male flower to bloom at the exact same time, I can cross-pollinate a male with a female and maybe come out, I might have pumpkin. So this is the update on the pumpkin plant. People tell you that you can't grow pumpkin inside. Just show them this program, okay? What do you think of this? Yeah, not much, huh? Well, you will when they bloom. You will, little crackhead. I feel really good today. Everything's turning up, I would say, coming up roses. But there are no roses in here. But what I do have, isn't that a nice little segue? I segue into the type of flower. Remember, I planted bulbs in here. I think I did a program on that not too long ago. Yeah, actually I did. I showed you all those bulbs that came from Holland. Yeah. Well, it turns out one of them was a hyacinth, and one of them was a white tulip, and I don't remember what the third one was. Anyway, I planted one of each bulb in a little tiny pot here. And everybody was telling me, Ray, well, not everybody, but a lot of folks were telling me, Ray, you can't grow them indoors. You got to put them out in the cold, and they got to do all this stuff. Oops. Oops. Well, somebody didn't give that warning to my plants, and I only have 2 of them here, but all of them, every single pot I have in here, I think I have 6 or 7 pots, are doing the exact same thing. They're actually growing, and they're not only growing, they're flowering. And that makes me happy. I was hoping they would be open by today, but they're not. I want to show you up close. I don't want to drag the camera over here, so I'll just drag myself over here. Check this out. Okay, fine. I'll drag you over here. Look at this. It's putting out a flower head, and it's just got a thin sheath of green on it, and I'm thinking any day now it's going to be producing a flower head. And I don't know which ones these are, but look, see? They're growing from the bulb down here. Now here's the hyacinth bulb, the purple one. Those are not growing yet, but I pulled one up because I have 3 of them in here. One here, one buried under here, and one over here. Now what happened is that one of them in a pot was growing so fast, that's this one. I pulled the bulb out and put it in a pot all by itself. That's this one here. It's actually a lot taller than the other one. And when I did that, the purple one came unwedged, and I looked at the bottom and it was spreading out roots all over the place. And so they are putting out roots. They are growing. It's just going to take the purple ones a little bit of extra time to start putting out their seed stalks. Now, I have pictures. I just want to show you a quick picture of when I transplanted this, okay? No sound or talk, but I'll just show you the 3 pictures to show you what the roots look like. Check this out. Yep, that's a healthy root system. And over here, underneath this LED light, actually I have it's like a shop light. Yeah, but it's got an LED bulb in it. I don't know much about it, but I think it's supposed to be almost as bright as one of the lights that I'm using. So that was kind of cool. But anyway, all these pots over here that you see behind me, see? They're doing this too. They're getting the little stalks of flowers, and even over here. So I'm thinking probably by around Christmas, a few weeks from now, I'm going to have flowers all over the place. And that's what I was hoping for and aiming for. So I got what I wanted. That's a nice little Christmas present from me, from a friend who sent me bulbs all the way from Holland. Little did she or I know that she would be giving me a beautiful array of flowers for Christmas. Isn't that great? That just made my whole month. It was absolutely beautiful. Oh, and there's one last, I got all kinds of stuff over here. Yeah, I never have a lack of things to show you when you come to visit. This one I didn't show when it was over here. I just noticed it when I was sitting back down. This is called pigeon pea. And I believe that's also called split pea. You know, the little peas that you use for split pea soup. Yeah, someone sent me pigeon peas, and I looked them up and I thought, what the heck? I'm going to grow pigeon peas, which is like some kind of a bean plant, and it produces pods, and they just sprouted. I got 2 that sprouted here. So I'm going to be growing pigeon peas here, here in the Garden of Voo. That was the last one I wanted to show you. But actually, this is not, of course, a vegetable, but this is the pothos. And I wanted to also bring this to your attention because this one was in a little pot. about this big by this big. And if you remember, those of you who tune in a lot, you remember I took a cutting. There was a plant, a pothos plant, a marble queen up here. She vined down, and I rooted the end of her vine in a little pot, and it grew, and I showed you how the roots go into, okay, well, you remember that. And it grew, and it did really well. Well, it grew so well, I thought, okay, since you're doing really well, I want to see what you can do, because some plants do okay, some don't do okay, and some surprise you because they just, it's kind of like the perfect storm where everything comes together, and it seems to be a situation that you want to just encourage. And that's what this one was. This was the perfect storm of everything going right. It was putting down great roots. I took it out of the pot, and I decided to give it one of my large pots. I don't have a lot of these, so I use them sparingly because I'm going to need them for my pepper plants and tomato plants. But I thought, you know what, this one deserves it because it's really doing well. I took it out of that pot, and of course pothos get root down really, really fast. So what I did was I didn't film this, sorry. It was one of those times where I just needed some me time. You know, I had just done the compost sale, and so that was hectic, and I needed some time right before Thanksgiving, so I just came down here, and me and the plants, not the dogs, not Mike, no nothing, no music, just me, the plants, and the quiet. And I transplanted this into one of my larger pots, and I had just a little bit of the powdered compost left over, just a little bit. I had one bag for myself. I sold everything else, and I sprinkled some in with the potting soil, and I mixed it all in. I transplanted the pothos into here. Now, what I did was I transplanted it kind of low in the pot. So there's a couple inches that I can add more soil. What's going to happen is, this is the theory, is all those roots that I loosened up and spread out are going to go way down, and this is going to start growing really, really well. I want to see how well I can grow pothos. And I've never grown them in a big pot like this. You know, you don't normally see them hanging from a ceiling in a medium-sized pot or a small pot. Well, this, I'm going to give it as much root space as it can stand. I want to see what it can do here in the Voodoo Garden. It might, I'm assuming by this time next year it's going to be wound around the room a few times, so you have to tune in for that. Anyway, that's what this is. So now this is a floor model, my floor model plant. But anyway, that's what I'm doing in the Voodoo Garden this week. Yeah, while everybody's out on Black Friday shopping, I'm down here soaking up the rays and just having a good, relaxing time. There's no way I'm getting out there and I'm dealing with all of those crowds. It would just drive me nuts. So instead of driving myself nuts, I think I'll just relax. I'll enjoy the greenery and smell the flowers. But anyway, I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope that you're taking it very careful out here in the holiday shopping season, the Christmas shopping season, and just be a little careful, be a little calm. I know it's a little bit crazy, but if you need to relax, join me here in the Voodoo Garden. And I don't have my little prop here, but I wanted to mention just one last thing at the end of the program is on the Praxis 55712 channel. I mentioned in one of my programs recently that I wrote a book. Yes, I wrote a book. Yeah, Ray wrote a book. And you probably already know about this, but it is a book of my life history from when I was a little tiny sprout to where I'm an old gnarly plant right now. And it is actually something that I'm very proud of. It is getting great reviews from everybody who's bought it and read it so far. They're absolutely loving it, and that just makes me so much happier that I did something that people really do appreciate. It's available on a website, and I do have the link below this program. Now, what you may not know, and I'm going to tell you if you watch the other channel, is it's available on paperback, which you can buy, and it's available worldwide. That's the nice thing. I don't care where you live. I think this website will sell to you and ship to you anywhere in the world. Now, the downside to that is shipping, of course, if you're going out of the United States, could rise up quite a bit. Now, that I'm not really too happy about, but I have no control over the shipping. Now, here's the nice thing is that if you don't mind reading it in a Kindle format or online format, well, not online, but on your computer, there's an ebook now. Yes, I did an ebook, and it costs less than the paperback book, and there's no shipping. Yeah, there's no shipping. You can actually be reading this in just a few minutes. Now check the link below and go on over there if you want and check out the book. I'd really be happy if you would check it out and see what you think about it. It's something that I'm very, very happy to offer to you. Anyway, that's all I want to mention. I'm not going to go on and on spamming about the book. I just wanted to mention that to you in case you're interested. It makes a great stocking stuffer. Hint, hint, hint. Okay, anyway, thank you everybody for joining me. Hey, come on over here. Come on, come on. Oh, thank you. That always makes me happy. He always has time for me and to get boogers all over my nose. Lick, 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 lick. Thank you. Thank you very much. Don't worry about him, by the way. He does not lick the plants. I'm the only thing he licks in this room. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us on the Me and Rascal on the Voodoo Garden episode this week. And 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, we will be back. Yes, we will, won't we? Oh, yes, we will. Time to go outside. Thank you, everybody. And remember, be careful out there. This is Ray and Rascal. Yep, we are out of here. One more kiss. Hey, one more. Oh, thank you so much. My little crackhead. Let's go. What? You want to mess with me? I will beat you up. I will. You crackhead. I don't think I like you. What do you think about that? Sniff my finger. Oh, that's good.